This is a Soleria Luminisa production. I hope you quite enjoy. Now, this video was a request from Cody2819, who asked if I could do a video stating the theory that the Pony of Shadows was Tirek. I first was thinking the Pony of Shadows was Sombra, but after rewatching and speaking with Cody, I believe there are some points, and some of them he had pointed out. Such as, the first point he pointed out was that Tirek's size when we first see him in episode 25 of season 4, where we see the cloaked figure in front of the unicorn. Tirek's size is about that as the same as a pony pony. So anyone could have taken his size as just another pony and not thought anything else of it. Next point was that Cody2819 pointed out to me, had reminded me, was it was stated that season 2 episode 20 in It's About Time is when it stated that Tirek most likely escaped because Cerberus had left his post at Tartarus. Then, if that was so, then Tirek would have had to have stayed hidden for 6 episodes in season 2, 13 episodes in season 3, and 24 episodes in season 4, totaling 43 episodes. Quite a difficult task if you're not familiar with the land of Equestria and possibly pony stories, or like old mare's tales. Then next at the castle, thought there was just one appearance of the Pony of Shadows. But in rewatching it, and I also had pointed this out to Cody2819, there's actually 2 appearances of the Pony of Shadows. The first sighting is when Rainbow Dash and Applejack are out in the courtyard. Fluttershy has just turned the wall around and is scaring them. So when they run, so like after they scream and they go to run, lightning flashes, and then we see the large shadow appear. Cody thought it was just Pinkie Pie's shadow until I showed him a screen picture that showed that the shadow had eyes. Noted they were not yellow eyes, but they were still eyes. Then another friend of mine had pointed out to me that the shadow, when we second see it after a commercial and then back to the show, we second see it a second time, that it looks like the shadow has either a horn or a wizard's hat. You can be the judge. I'm torn between which one it could be. Next, the second time we see the Pony of Shadow, also kind of looks like either it has like horn or wizard's hat. It has yellow eyes, and Tirek has yellow eyes. Then the next point in question, and this is also a question that came to my mind, and I believe I was discussing with Cody, if I recall correctly. How would Tirek stay under Discord's magic flux senses? That is a very good question. He would have to, if he was regaining strength slowly, he'd have to do it in a way that would prevent his magic from increasing so drastically that it would set off Discord's radar later in the series when he is free after Keep Calm and Flutter On. So with that thought next, with that thought ties into the next point of what better place to hide than a forest that is said to be quite dangerous and has a scary old castle residing in the middle of it. Or I believe it is in the middle of it. because why would he hide anywhere other than a forest that has timber wolves, manticores, and who knows what other beasts residing within it, including a scary old castle. Including a scary old castle to keep ponies away from finding him too soon, before he can regain his strength and seek revenge. Next is if Tirek had shown up twice, how would he have not seen Twilight Sparkle's wings and seen that she was an alicorn, giving him knowledge of her before the season finale premiere? Well, one point that I'm thinking here is that when he ran the first, that if it was him the first time when he ran, he probably stayed in hiding after running, because if he was in such a weakened state, I don't think he would have dared try to take on any ponies, let alone ones that may or may not have the power to re-imprison him. And then second theory point on how he could have not seen Twilight's wings. Oh, and with the first point, after the shadow flees, Applejack and Rainbow Dash run off, Fluttershy returns the wall around, and then after the courtyard is empty, is when Twilight Sparkle walks along the pathway behind, in the back, magically carrying a large candlestick holder with her lit, so that she can continue reading into the night. Second point is that when we second time see the shadow inside of the castle at the end, the wall that the shadow appears on is the same wall that Twilight Sparkle is standing alongside of. So my thoughts is that perhaps since her body is standing alongside the same wall that the shadow appears on, that the shadow may have only seen Twilight's head from her chest up to her head seeing just an average unicorn, not seeing her wings due to the fact that there is a wall between the two. But that's just a thought, and by the way that angle and perception can go. Next thought that came was could Tirek in a weak state turn into shadow alone, or did he need help? This is going to be throwing in part of involving my Sombra theory, since mostly involves Sombra's dark magic, which I believe had formed his horn. If Tirek would not have had the power on his own to turn into shadow in a weakened state, then what if Sombra's horn were to return to the castle, and then Tirek slowly suck in a little bit at a time of the magic in order to use it temporarily at times in order to hide and scare off any ponies who would dare come into the Everfree Forest and to the castle to explore. Yes, quite a long shot, but just a thought there. But then that also does how could Tirek have accessed Sombra's shadow magic? Well, is one thing I note. I note that when we see Sombra with the season 3 episodes 1 and 2, in episode 2 when we see him defeated, his horn flies off and is perfectly intact. The other thing that I point out involving his horn that it did not match his coat, did not have the swirl line, it could regrow, it could sink into the ground when cut off, and that is not natural for any unicorn horn that we have seen thus far. Because thus far, all unicorn horns have matched the color of the horn's owner's coat. They have all had the line swirl on them. And I'm pretty sure that if you were to cut any of them off, that they would not regrow. I am quite positive. I'm almost positive of that. To 100%. Even Chrysalis's horn, which looked like Swiss cheese. Cheese was the same color as her coat, and it had the swirl line on it. Even her horn had the swirl line, and it looked like Swiss cheese. Cheese with Sombra's was red with a black coat and no swirl line. Not to mention the whole regrowing after it got cut off, the end of it got cut off, and that the end that did get cut off had sunk into the ground, showing the dark purple and green magic that we see used by his Door of Nightmares, as I am calling it. The other thing that I think would have allowed Tirek access to Sombra's shadow magic is referring to a quote from Luna in episode 26, season 4, where she says, "Magic cannot simply disappear into thin air. Some pony must keep it safe." In episode 23, season 4, Inspiration Manifestation, the dark magic that had possessed Rarity after Spike tells her the truth, we see flies off. Most likely, I'm thinking it flew off back to the library from whence it came. Since it had came out of a book from the library, it most likely returned back to the library because after being released, it could not just vanish into thin air. Because if it could just vanish into thin air, then why would the princesses had needed to rid their magic into Twilight instead of just letting it go poof into thin air? Well, besides the fact that it is an awesome fight scene. Anyhow, back to focus. So, if this is true, then if Sombra would have gotten his horn in the castle of the two sisters, then after he was after he was killed off, then wouldn't it seem most logical that his horn would have went back to where he gained it from, or where the magic was released at, being the castle of the two sisters? Most likely where that dark magic that he released to gain a horn may have been kept or may have been imprisoned at to keep it away from other ponies. So if this is true, then it would have returned to the castle. Because where else is it supposed to go if it cannot find a new host? Let's say Tirek has been hiding in the castle in physical form for several episodes, for at least 8 or so episodes out of the 43 episodes. If he were to have come across the horn or the dark magic of Sombra, then he could have sucked in a little bit of it not causing a big enough flux to alert Discord after Keep Calm and Flutter On. This would have allowed him the ability to turn into shadow whenever needed, by keeping the horn close to him or keeping it to where he could access it quickly to become shadow. So that way then, if any ponies were adventurous enough to come out and look into the castle, then he could easily suck in a little bit of magic, turn into a shadow pony, and then easily scare them away, ensuring that he could have more time to recover his strength in order to start draining ponies. Ponies in Discord would not be any the wiser during that time period because he's being so careful. We have seen him be calculating. Another thought that came to me that would back up with Cody's theory on Tirek being the Pony of Shadows. If Tirek, because where else would Tirek have hidden? Because as we know that hiding in the castle ruins would seem the most logical, because let's say the Tree of Harmony did not take out the Timberwolves and the other beasties, then they would still exist along with the creepy factor of the castle being so old and crumbling, along with the stories of the headless horse, the Pony of Shadows, as that was stated by Rainbow Dash, that she was told by Granny Smith. Was remains of Nightmare Moon's power, and we've seen that ponies fear Nightmare Moon, and in Luna Eclipse they also feared Luna, because she was Nightmare Moon. So, and we know, and we've heard about like the headless horse in season 1 episode 8 with Look Before You Sleep, as told by Twilight Sparkle, and then again with season 3 episode 6 Sleepless in Ponyville when told by Rainbow Dash. And so even if the Timberwolves and other bad beasties were removed by the Tree of Harmony after the season premiere of season 4, there would still be the fact of those scary stories to detour ponies from going into the forest and exploring the castle ruins. And then even if some pony did come in to explore the castle ruins, if Tirek had access to Sombra's power, then he could simply just take in a little bit of the power, turn it into a shadow, and scare the crap out of whoever is in the castle, to scare them away and give more force behind the shadow pony theory, and ensure that he has more time to rest up, regain his strength, and slowly build up his power, so that way he can then suck dry ponies themselves and gain more strength and take over Equestria like he was planning to do. So there is the theory on on Tirek, my apologies for saying Sombra first time, of Tirek being the Pony of Shadows as requested by Cody 2819. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that some of it may have some facts behind it, or may seem logical enough to be considered, logical enough to bring about the well, that would make sense, since that could be. So until someone from Hasbro or DHX or on the writing team says otherwise, here is this theory. I hope you enjoyed.